Today we're making a curry that's really close to my family's heart. It's called Hung Lay, and you probably haven't seen it on too many Thai menus, but it's the most popular Thai curry in northern Thailand. It's also my personal favorite. My mom actually comes from the northern Thai region, and it's something we've had in our house as far back as I can remember. What's happening, team? I am Jet Tila, and this is Ready Jet Cook, where I show you how to make my favorite Asian dishes from pantry to plate. But before we get cooking, take a minute and subscribe. Let's get started. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna need to do is make the marinade, but I've got garam masala, I've got curry powder, red curry, and pickled garlic. 4 ingredients, which actually within these ingredients, I probably have like 20 ingredients. So we need to talk about curry for a second, right? Because many of the world's cultures have curry. Curry, or kare, K-A-R-E before it was C-U-R-R-Y, is a Tamil word that just simply translates to a spiced sauce. Indian curry, made from spices. Thai curry, made from herbs, and I have a few herbs here. The chilies, the shallots, the garlic, all those ingredients, and that's all curry is. Okay, I'm gonna use both bases as my marinade for my pork for this curry. So this is Thai curry paste. If you finish it with red chilies, you've made red curry. And then on this side, I'm using the garam masala and the curry powder. This is a really great recipe because it is an homage to northern Thailand. And northern Thailand basically is a collection of the different cultures that go into these ingredients. There's Indian, there's Burmese, there's Chinese, and there's Thai. So that's the marinade. Let's get the pork into there and kind of massage it all together. I'm gonna cut up 2 types of pork. I've got pork belly here, which is the bacon part, and then I've got pork shoulder. So I am using skin on belly this time. I'm cutting it into 1-inch blocks, and then I'm gonna take those 1-inch blocks and cut them into 1-inch little squares. You know what, my grandma used to basically go all pork belly, but I usually just do pork shoulder. All right, so pork belly pieces in, pork shoulder. So same thing, guys, 1-inch lengths become 1-inch pieces. All the ingredients go in, and yes, it's time to get my hands dirty. So the idea is to get all that red curry paste, which is a ton of herbs and garlic, the garam masala, which is also a collection of spices, the madras curry, which is a collection of spices, way into the meat. So I'm really taking the time to massage this in. And you're gonna start smelling all of those beautiful warming spices, the lemongrass, the chilies, the garlic, and that's perfect. So this is gonna hang out 4 hours to overnight. So I like to cook this curry in a Dutch oven. It really is my favorite tool because the really wide sides and the cast iron really holds heat. Because it's enamelized, it's going to be a non-stick experience, which makes life very easy. So this pork has been hanging out and marinating. It's so interesting, people really ask, like, what's your favorite oil? It's grapeseed. I just like grapeseed a lot because it's so neutral. It has a very high smoke point, and I can cook with it and I can make dressings with it. I'm looking into the pan, I'm getting a little bit of white smoke. That means I'm at searing temp, and I'm just throwing the pork right in. And it feels like a lot of pork, but another reason why I'm using cast iron is it can take it. I'm not gonna get an immediate massive drop of temperature and take me out of the sear zone. So remember, I'm listening always, and if I'm hearing that shh, I'm in a good place. So this is gonna take a minute. What I'm gonna do is let the pork sear, brown, turn, sear, brown, turn. So eventually, when I turn it enough, I'm gonna get it nice and brown. And I need to do that because there's a good amount of fat in here and I wanna render that fat. So as I'm doing that, let's talk about some other really key ingredients. The next few things going in are ginger and pickled garlic. It is a Thai young pickled garlic. It's got that really good balance between sugar, salt, and acid, all right? So check it out. They've actually pickled the entire head of garlic, but I wanna break it down into bulbs. So you see this little shoot? It's pretty dense. So what I like to do is either cut above it, and then I'll cut below it where the actual kind of roots come out. And most garlic is kind of held together by both the top and the bottom. And then I just smash, and that's how I get all of those great little garlic bulbs right there. All right, checking in on the browning. Because I didn't touch this pan much, look at that. I'm already starting to get a nice, even browning. Remember, I'm using the surface area here. And I'm not scared to use a little more oil here because I do want to kind of jumpstart that Maillard effect, that searing. But it's always important to really scrape the bottom of the pan. All right, that's good to go. All right, next ingredient is ginger. This curry has a ton of ginger in it, and just cut them into that blades of grass cut. Last ingredient that's gonna go in kind of on the first pass here is peanuts, and these are just plain roasted peanuts. Wow, all those spices and chilies are really starting to wake up, and it is smelling amazing. So remember, you're walking that line between a really well brown, but not burning any of your spices and your curry paste. And then I'm gonna kind of reinforce the flavors in here. I'm gonna up it by adding the ginger, that pickled garlic, and then peanuts before I add my liquids. So I'm gonna give this a second to really wake up that garlic flavor, that ginger flavor, and scraping down the sides as you go. You don't want any of that curry to settle on the bottom and burn. Right now it's being well browned. And now I'm just gonna add chicken stock. So just a good amount of chicken stock in. And essentially what I'm creating here is a braise, because if you notice, the liquid is not covering the meat. By the liquid being under the meat, we're going to let this simmer covered for an hour and a half until all that pork belly breaks down and it becomes a really beautiful curry. So the curry's been simmering for about an hour and a half. Let's check on if that pork is nice and tender. That looks great. I like to use a knife or a fork and press into the pieces of pork. And if it goes in fairly easy, that's it right there. And the next thing is kind of viscosity. You know, we've created a really beautiful kind of texture here. It's nice and thick. I'm not looking for like a bisque or a chowder. I'm looking for, you know, a nice kind of gravy, but a gravy that'll kind of seep through rice. So, all right, it's seasoning time. Let's talk about flavorings going into the pot. Thai food is 5 flavors. We know this. You guys have cooked with me for so long now. Hot, sour, salty, sweet, savory. Hot is already in there. I mean, remember, we've got the chilies, we've got all the spices. Sour is gonna come from the pickled garlic. So we've actually had the pieces of pickled garlic in there. I'm actually gonna use the juice now to season this up. Another very important sour is tamarind. All right, so we got hot, we have sour, salty, of course, is fish sauce. This is Thai fish sauce, beautiful amber in color. And then because this is a true fusion dish, that whole northern Thailand area is Chinese and Burmese. We're gonna use a black soy. It's got a beautiful color, and watch as this pours. It's that addition of molasses and brown sugar. Last, we need sweet. This is palm sugar. All this is the sap from the coconut palm tree. It is delicious. It has the taste of honey, a little bit of jasmine essence in there, so that's going right in. This only should be like a 4 or 5 spicy. It's not gonna blow your head off. Wow. That backed up with the ginger. It has such a unique and delicious flavor. I am done, guys. It's time to plate this up. My favorite pair is going to be rice. I'm using jasmine rice because it is northern Thailand. You could also eat this with sticky rice, no problem. So again, some are going to kind of be a little leery about the oil. So the way to kind of get around that is push from the middle, rotate out, and then grab a nice serving. Oh, look at that. Come on. Pork belly, peanuts, ginger, garlic. I always want to make sure that my rice is swimming in sauce. I like to garnish with some Thai lime leaves, and I'm going to show you a really quick chiffonade. I put the leaves on top of each other, I roll them up really tight, and I'm using lime leaves because there's lime leaves in the curry paste, so it's kind of that callback to the ingredient, and I think it just gives it a nice little pop. So just a very, very thin pass. I'm gonna throw just a little bit on top and a little bit of cilantro leaves, or coriander, if you will. Hung Lay curry, very minimal effort for such an unctuous dish. Just that pork belly, oh my God, that's the perfect bite right there. Woo! That was not a TV bite, that was a legit, that is delicious bite. The first thing that hits you is this umami heat. And those warming spices of the clove and the cardamom and cinnamon kind of are just warming. There's a base of nice red chili underneath, and then the pork belly, the acid of the ginger, and the pickled garlic. Although it's a heavy dish, it eats super light and it's super craveable. All right guys, Hung Lay curry. If you enjoyed this recipe, please hit that like button. Put any questions or comments down below, and I'm looking forward to cooking with you next time on Ready, Jet, Cook.